but another of the special guests on our team tonight joins us alongside Barry McGuigan, George Groves. And George, I should point out, again, is part of this very successful McGuigan camp at the moment. Lovely to see you, George. You are now in the last 4 weeks or so before your next appearance, which is on Channel 5 at Wembley.
That's right, yeah, 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks tonight. So we're in full steam training. Didn't even take a few days off to come up and enjoy Edinburgh. We've been flew in, straight in the gym, straight in here to watch Josh Taylor tonight, and back down first thing in the morning. So back to work.
Back to training? Back to
training, yeah. But wouldn't have it any other way. So we've got a big fight coming up. You know, it's great to be headlining back in Wembley. Fantastic opportunity for me fighting on Channel 5. We've got a tough opponent, Energy Eddie. Gutknecht. He's been about. He's not quite the household name over here, but he's a big name in Germany. He's been in some terrific fights, and he's going to take my A game to stop him. So.
Eduardo Gutknecht, the opponent. Yeah. Before we talk about what's ahead, was there any point, the Carl Froch defeat and Badou Jack, which was obviously a very, very low point, was there ever a moment where you thought, I'm not going to get back up there? Did you always, was your self-belief really tested at that time?
Yeah, I mean, self-belief's tested, and it's tested week in, week out in the gym because we're pushing ourselves. But, you know, it's difficult to make fundamental changes, you know, in a short boxing career. Yeah. I'd already left, you know, a high-profile trainer. I'd spent too long with a trainer that wasn't working for me. Fortunately for me, I happened to stumble across Shane McGuigan and the team. You know, he showed a tremendous enthusiasm to work with me. We clicked straight away, and the success has been, you know, it's night and day. We've had a great year so far. Capped off with the last win against Martin Murray, which everyone was billing as a 50-50 fight, but it was a one-sided shutout. And it's just a beginning, really, because I really feel that not only am I getting back to my best, as people have described me, I'm going to be better. So next year is going to be a big year, but this year we're going to see it out in style.
Nobody's ever had an easy time against Murray, so how much of a pat on the back do you feel you deserve for that performance against Murray?
Yeah, you know, Murray's been a great ambassador for British boxing. He's a tough lad. He's been, like me, unsuccessful in a few world title attempts. And I knew it was going to be, you know, not an easy night's work. But once I found my range, once I started landing, it was sort of one-sided traffic. We knew there'd be a final push from him, and in the, you know, I think it was the 10th round, he came out and he tried to get back in the fight, but you know, as I say, I'm firing all cylinders at the moment.
It's a huge win for you, but if we were to analyse your career as a block to this date, the young Tyro, George Groves, when he turns pro, to now, what has changed in your outlook?
You know, I've gained a huge amount of experience that is priceless. I mean, I was trying to compare myself a little bit to Josh Taylor tonight. He stepped up, fought for a Commonwealth title. He done it before me. I stepped up and did it in my 9th fight. You know, as a chief support for a pay-per-view card, it was like my old mucker David Hay. Josh, he's headlined on terrestrial TV in his 7th fight, and done a clinical job against a well-seasoned professional. So, you know, as I say, I'm lucky enough to have experienced a lot in my career. I've pushed myself, you know, every stage. There's no difference now. You know, it's the same thing. We're gonna push on. We're gonna win that world title, and we're gonna reign for as long as we can.
You always thought a lot of him, didn't you, before when he was coming through? But from the promotional point of view, Barry, how significant is it that now you've got a major London draw, you know, to go with Carl Frampton, young Taylor tonight?
Yeah, he's a hugely famous guy, 250,000 followers on Twitter. People love him. But the bottom line is this guy can really fight. He's such an amazing fighter, and he's 28 years old. He can punch so hard. He punches like a heavyweight, and he's a super middleweight. And I've watched him in the gym, dental, and big guy. So he's 28, but he's a fresh 28, despite the fact that he had that, you know, a couple of defeats and whatever. He's been very unlucky. I thought he won the Badou Jack fight, didn't get it. And I think since he's teamed up with Shane, it sounds very nepotistic again, but I think he's improving. The two of them gel as coach, a great respect for one another, and he's doing what he's really good at, which is creating middle to long distance, and he's a phenomenal puncher. You saw that performance against Martin Murray. That was a dreadful beating he took from George. George dished out the sort of punishment that, you know, it was just a phenomenal performance, and Martin Murray is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen, and to be able to take that. But I really think this guy has not reached the heights yet because of his ability. He hasn't really got it. He hasn't certainly tapped into. He's maybe 85% of what he's got. He's got so much more to offer.
That's
and
fair
he's 28.
comment. But I was just about to say, you're 28, so really, 28 to 30, they're your peak years. You've got to be conscious of that now, surely.
Yeah, no, of course. You know, I had a 2-year period where things weren't working for me. I was a little unlucky, you know, but I had 5 fights and 3 losses. It wasn't me, but as I say, this year I'm working with a new coach, a new team, surrounded by fantastic athletes, great individuals, winners, champions, and it's bringing me on. So
let's hope so, and let's hope we see the evidence of it when you are next in the ring. Thank you very much, George, and again, Barry, thank you very much. Channel 5 next month from Wembley, the SSE Arena, and it's essentially a world title eliminator, isn't it? As you meet Eduardo Gutknecht from Germany, and live Wembley, Friday, November the 18th, 10 o'clock on Channel 5, and by special request. I wonder why this has happened. Next Wednesday night, George Groves appears on Football on 5. Manchester United play Manchester City in the EFL Cup. Does it have anything to do with the other fixture, George?
It just might.
And you're not a West Ham fan? Which means
not
it's West Ham Chelsea. It's a tremendous double bill of football. But George, very much focus on the work in the gym every day, in that gym in Battersea with the other champions and young stars of the future. Thanks very much for being on the show tonight.